Welcome back to Styria, welcome back to Austria, and welcome back to the Red Bull Ring, where we are getting ready to get underway for a sunny Grand Prix here on Alliant Motorsports Champions. 3 DRS straights back-to-back on the main straight between turns 1 and 3 and 3 and 4 allow for some spectacular overtaking opportunities. The lights are coming on now. 4, 5 of them, all lights on and all lights off as the drivers take off from the line. Genji and the McLaren shifting to the outside line as both Aston Martin cars keeping it clean through the first chain of corners. All clean in the back as well. No drivers running out wide, and Adesi actually losing a position to Jaquan, who's right on the back of the 2 Aston Martin cars. Into turn number 4, and Wadapatowski pulling away a little bit immediately in front of them. We can see Ironhammer doing battle with Leaky through the middle corners here and pulling that off successfully.
Corner does not go into the pits. You might have to wait to come around. Hopefully he just doesn't have any damage.
That's right, Mr. Alt F4 in the Alfa Romeo, pulling to the inside of Adesi into turn number 3, and let's see how well he can cope on the traction as they still go side by side. Jaquan has a great view of this battle here as the Alfa Romeo driver does driver ahead, and we may well see that again, as you mentioned. Jaquan trying to pull to the outside of Adesi in the Haas and beat him on the traction, but that Haas car just slithers away, and he has DRS advantage as well. The AlphaTauri driver using all of his battery, the Haas driver forcing him to the outside then through turn number 4, and side by side they go, but it looks like Adesi just has the better traction at the moment. As I say that, my goodness, that is a very special move by Jaquan down the inside of turn number 6, and that does allow him to take that spot. So far, very, very clean driving indeed from everybody on the grid. No collisions to speak of through the first 4 laps.
Yeah, you can just take a look at the leaders. Duck Lover's just getting towed along via Wadapatowski. He has been using a lot of his battery, trying to keep up with his teammate. I wonder if Wadapatowski's just that much quicker on this track than his teammate.
Oh, an almighty dive bomb Wheaton from Zay on the inside of turn number 4, and that is the Australian driver pulling up alongside So Spicy, touching wheels along, and once that tire crossover point occurs, that is when Andrew S. may likely start to ask for some favors from his team boss. Alex Gray going wide through turn number 1, and that allows So Spicy to pull up alongside both drivers with DRS open, and will the Williams try to counterattack down the inside? That he does not, and now he's got to contend with the Red Bull on his outside. The 2 touch wheel to barge board, and this is going to continue into turn number 4. Andrew Sichting waiting patiently in the back, and nearly making contact with his teammate through turn number 4, but all is well for the time being. Once again, the Red Bull pulls to the inside of Alex Great, and this time through turn number 5, he is able to make that move work. On the back of Zay, he is in a Red Bull Racing sandwich as he pulls suddenly to the outside and brakes substantially later than his rival, getting a phenomenal exit, and that is him up into P8.
Yeah, switching back to the leaders now. Mr. Alt F4 right behind the likes of Duck Lovers, who is using Wadapatowski to tow him, but Wadapatowski with no DRS is just beginning to lose a little bit of pace compared to the DRS trains behind him.
6 seconds now to his name. The Red Bull driver, Zay, right up on the back of the Alpine. The Alpine driver forcing him onto the curb, nearly off the track. Zay says, that's all the room I need, trying to go all the way around the outside of turn number 4, and he pulls that off handsomely as he emerges into P8. Of people cheering on Adesi in our Twitch chat. Great to have you guys along with us, and a lot of support for the Finnish driver. Dare I say an Iceman? Oh my goodness, as Mr. Alt F4 stages an attack on Wadapatowski, and Wadapatowski going defensive at the very last minute there, nearly catches Mr. Alt F4 off guard. Likely Wadapatowski performing a little bit of rear gunner duties here for his teammate Duck Lovers, but Duck Lovers also unable to sneak away from these drivers as they collide, and that is Wadapatowski losing a position to both Mr. Alt F4 and Jaquan.
And don't forget that Andrew Sichting has plenty of battery to spare. He will be on a charge over the next few laps. And oh, look, Desi has spun in the first corner. Final corner.
No. That is That is a Desi down in P13 now, as, oh my goodness, as Alex Ray runs wide and allows Andrew S. past him on exit from the first corner. And Leaky behind, who's going to look and see if he can find a lane here as they enter turn number 4. At the moment, all single file though, as so Spicy leads Jetty, then ahead of Quad and Leaky Valve in 11th position.
Yeah, remember how Andrew Sitching was down in P16 at the start of the race? Well, he's now fighting for P5, and don't forget
this race, lap 14 of 36, and these leading drivers will likely be thinking about doing much the same as Mr. Alt F4 uses that DRS to pull up alongside Duck Lovers who nearly squeezes him off the track, and now Jaquan emerges in front of them, getting a better exit than both of them combined, and is the AlphaTauri driver, going to try to fight for the lead. They touch, and he does emerge in first ahead of Duck Lovers and Mr. Alt F4. Down, we will jump on board here with Wada Potowski, who on those new tires has found himself in a little bit of traffic, hasn't he, Wheaton?
Yeah, absolutely. He's, as Kenji spins right in front of him.
No!
Take a piece of maneuvers. Oh, that was so close for Wada Potowski. Forgot ghosting was off for just half a second, but then remembered, crucially at the last second, he's coming around the first corner now, but he's going to come out behind Jaquan and Duck Lovers.
Did they not touch, Wheaton?
I don't think they did. I think Wada Potowski just dodged him. Oh, it was ever so close.
Mr. Alt F4, who's in the middle of the battle. Is that Wada Potowski, or is that Duck Lovers, who had an issue there and now is down to P6?
Yeah, Duck Lovers missed the corner, went way over into the gravel, was able to recover, but now he's stuck behind Quad and Mr. Alt F4.
Wow, this plot continues to change so quickly and so violently, we can barely keep up. The two Aston Martins went from having this race practically in the bag to essentially throwing away the top 2 positions to their nearest competitors through various issues of their own. Now, Wada Potowski trying to come back and overtake Quad. That he does, and files in right behind his teammate Leaky in the Ferrari. And Leaky has absolutely no intention of letting his rival through, despite the grip advantage that Jaquan has. He's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, and as he opens up that DRS rear wing, is he going to try and move into the first corner? That he is, lining up to the inside of the Ferrari, and is he able to keep it all together on the apex? That he is. And
the likes of Klinsman and Quad still, as Charles and Klinsman get really spicy there. As Charles was trying to dive down the inside in turn 3. Thought better if it went onto the racing line and Klinsman let him by. But yeah, a lot of the drivers starting to get frustrated on those old mediums, starting to give up on waiting for a safety car.
Significantly more. Now he's got his mirrors full of Duck Lovers, and Wada Potowski waiting in the wings not too far behind as well, and that DRS advantage will likely be more than the Alfa Romeo driver can overcome. Duck Lovers makes that overtake and elevates himself to P2. Meanwhile, Leaky currently staging an attack on his rival in the Haas. That is a Desi. Leaky lines up to the inside. A Desi pushing him all the way to the inside of the track. Expert stuff on the brakes for Leaky, but a Desi does launch a counterattack. Not quite yet, but lining up right in the wheel tracks of the Ferrari. And is he going to pull on to the inside? That he does. Trying to squeeze him to the outside of the track is a Desi, and still side by side, they emerge from the 4th corner. The Ferrari on the inside for 6, the Haas on the outside, and the Ferrari on the soft tires is going to have that grip to emerge in 10th position.
For now, with Wada Potowski's newly gained 3-second time penalty, is sitting nice and pretty. He's just going to sit, relax, and hide in his DRS until he wins the race. And Duck Lover's got Jaquan here into turn 3. Out of nowhere, a bit of a dive bomb, but no contact, really, as Duck Lovers is ahead. Who's got DRS? Neither of them. How is that
interesting?
possible?
Likely just content watching them do battle for his own entertainment. Still side by side they go. Duck Lovers are on the outside of Jaquan. They touch ever so slightly still. Both cars on the track through 6, now into 7, and it looks like Duck Lovers has a slight edge on corner exit. That he does in the bag for Mr. Alten 4, who runs right behind Jaquan with the DRS on the inside line. No, files back into the order as Jaquan once again goes side by side with Duck Lovers, who concedes that position and lives to fight another day.
Yeah, of course, Duck Lovers, Jaquan have the same amount of penalties. They are fighting for effectively P2 right now.
We are all holding our breath here.
I was holding my breath. I thought you'd take over. So yeah, there goes Duck Lovers down.
As Jaquan, in the meantime, has picked up 9 seconds overall. 6 seconds for Andrew Sichting behind Charles Leclerc with 0. Now, Mr. Alt F4 lining to the outside of Duck Lovers for the race lead. And the Alfa Romeo driver secures that overtake with seemingly very little resistance. Well, the stakes are always higher towards the end of the race, aren't they, Wheaton? And we'll have to see how that situation resolves itself. I'm not sure if Charles's team principal has been on the radio to him saying that Andrew is struggling on fuel back out in front. And this pendulum just keeps swinging, as does the pendulum between Charles Leclerc and Andrew Sichting. Charles pulling off that overtake against his rival in the Red Bull and elevating himself up into P5. So Spicy very, very close behind as well. As Duck Lovers, or as Jaquan has 9 and is no longer a danger to Duck Lovers. Now, Wadapatowski going down the inside of his teammate into turn 4 and lining up immediately behind Mr. Alt F4 from the Aston Martin team. Meanwhile, it is So Spicy lining up to the inside of Charles Leclerc as the two collide and the Alpine goes into the wall, Wheaton, and that is him down in P7. Andrew S elevating himself above, and that is a severely damaged front wing for the Alpine driver who just cannot keep it on the track through the subsequent corner.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. I believe Charles Leclerc just lost his rear end there. Tapped So Spicy.
A little bit of driver swapping during this deadline. He is a top candidate. Now, Wadapatowski once again to the inside of Mr. Alt F4 and runs way too deep through turn number 3. That allows Mr. Alt F4 to get up ahead, and Duck Lovers 2 net first overall, lining all the way to the outside of Duck Lovers. It really does look like Mr. Alt F4 wants to take this victory on the road. Still plenty of ERS to go as he lines to the inside of Duck Lovers through turn number 6, nearly pushing his rival off the road, and still side by side they go into the next corner. Is it going to be Mr. Alt F4? Is it going to be Duck Lovers? Side by side they run for the final few corners of this Grand Prix. Now the Alfa Romeo finds himself around the outside of the subsequent corner, and he does take the lead, Wheaton. He does take the lead into the final turn, and he crosses the line in his very first race on Alliant Motorsports Champions, taking his maiden wins. And here we are on the podium then. The Alfa Romeo driver, Mr. Alt F4, flanked by 2 rivals in the Aston Martin team. Aston Martin will certainly be happy for the Constructors' Championship showing, but the Alfa Romeo team has discovered a new gem in their driver here, celebrating his victory, his first of the season, but given the pace, maybe first of many.